So are these AliExpress shoes just as good as the real thing? Watch until the very end to find out. Yeah, no, they're not as good. I probably shouldn't have said that at the very start, actually. Hello and welcome back to another spicy little Trace Velo production. My name, as always, is Luke. So you may have noticed, if you've watched this channel for a little while, that I'm quite partial to some cheap Chinese cycle equipment. Cycle shoes, however, that's actually something I've always spent the money on. So the first pair of dedicated cycle shoes that I owned were a pair of Specialized BG Comp road shoes. I got them in 2008 for around 120 quid and used them all the way until 2016. Amazing pair of shoes. The only reason I changed them really was because I got some new shoes for my birthday, although they were quite worn out, as I'm sure you can imagine. The next pair were some Scott Road Comp shoes. 70 quid, had them for 2.5 years. Great pair of shoes. Only replaced them because they got quite badly scuffed up in a crash. They were still perfectly functional, to be fair. I just got some new ones for my birthday. And my new birthday shoes were actually these shoes here. You may have seen me wear these on the channel previously. These are my pair of Fizik R5 Tempo Overcurve shoes. Been using them since last April, and yeah, probably the best pair of cycle shoes I've ever owned, actually. Super duper comfy, really durable. I love the styling, and yes, super stiff. Absolutely amazing pair of shoes. But I was browsing AliExpress the other day, which is always a risky business, and you'll never guess what popped up. Well, I mean, you've seen the title, you will guess, but you'll never guess what popped up in my recommendations. So here we have a pair of T-Ding Zapatillas Ciclismo. That's apparently what they're called from what I could find. I got them for just under 30 quid on AliExpress, and this is exactly what they look like straight out of the box. I mean, I say box, they were actually delivered in this thing, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is the first sign you've got yourself a top quality product. So at a cursory glance, they look very similar to the Fizik pair. Same basic style, same color, same Velcro strap at the front, same perforations along the side, same logo placement on the front, and the same, I'm doing air quotes as I narrate here, the same lacing system. Also, just as an FYI, I absolutely love these photos from the advert. They've just put screws into the bottom of the shoes without any cleats attached, and they clearly didn't have a proper bike for the shoot, so they've just hired an electric mobike, which I thought was was quite funny. But sometimes with these cheaper Chinese products, especially with the jerseys you find on AliExpress, they tend to use slightly edited photos of the official or original products. But credit where credit is due here, these shoes are pretty much exactly how they appear in the advert. So, with that in mind, this T-Ding pair, just as good as the Fizik pair, am I right? He says when the end result has clearly been established at the very beginning of the video. First off, the build quality of the T-Ding pair is not quite up to the same standard. There's excess glue where the sole is glued on around the back here and along the edges, and some of the stitching was loose from the factory. The materials chosen are also different. Hopefully in this picture you can see the differences between the two. The T-Ding pair seem to be made of this kind of stiff neoprene-like material. I wouldn't necessarily say it's worse, but it doesn't feel quite as nice or as durable as the stuff used on the Fizik pair. The tongue of the T-Ding pair is made of the same material as the body, just a different colour, whereas the Fizik pair is made of a nice stiff, almost plastic, with padding on the inside as a backing. The insole of the T-Ding pair is also just cheap foam, whereas the Fizik comes with a serviceable insole with a nice bit of arch support in there too. Now the sole of the T-Ding pair here is just straight plastic. Now the Fizik pair is plastic as well, but it's glass fiber reinforced, baby! Now, if you've already seen this video I did on magnesium pedals, you will understand my attitude towards glass fiber reinforced plastics. But needless to say, this is a big win for the Fizik pair, I'm afraid. But rather than go into detail around that topic again within this video, I will leave a link in the video description to the very point in that video where I go into detail around that topic. So check that one out later if you haven't already. Now, one of the biggest differences, which I have yet to discuss, is actually the lacing system here. And this is something you notice pretty much straight away. Okay, I was about to take those new shoes out on their maiden voyage and I noticed this one thing. So this is the official Fizik pair and this is the BOA lacing system they use. Super simple to use, tighten it like so, and you can also loosen it on the fly when you're out on a ride by undoing it and it kind of ratchets apart. You want to unlace it, bosh, pop it out, and then comes apart super easy. These are crazy robust. I've never had one fail on me before. I've got a lot of faith in these BOA systems. They use them on things like snowboard boots as well, and yeah, these are really great. By comparison, this is the T-Ding pair, and rather than BOA, they've got something called Yo, and yeah, it just doesn't feel very good quality. It feels so much cheaper than the BOA one. It works in much the same way, I suppose. So you tighten it like so. You can't undo it on the fly, which is a shame, like the BOA model, but to unlace it, pop it out, but yeah, it's just really stiff. It doesn't want to come apart very easily. You almost have to kind of pull it from the sides to get it to unlace all the way. Doesn't scream quality. I mean, it could get better over time. I'm going to put a little bit of oil in here and see if I can loosen it up a bit. But yeah, I suspect if something was to fail on these shoes, it would be this. But yeah, I guess time will tell. So, did they get better over time? So I've had these T-Ding shoes now for a week or two and I've ridden them about 200 miles. Now I would normally stick with things a little bit longer. For example, I'm still rocking these magnesium pedals here, trying to kind of give them a fair shot. But in the case of these shoes, I'm actually struggling to use these any longer. Now the Yo lacing system, it did get a little bit better over time, but it's still not a patch on the official BOA system. You can see in this picture that the BOA setup has these kind of feed lips on either side to ease the lacing out. The Yo system doesn't have these, and as a result, they still don't open up very easily. Let me demonstrate here. So I'll pop it out, and then you really have to yank it open. And because it's still so stiff, the lacing is already starting to wear. You can see in this picture that after just a couple of rides, the plastic coating is already starting to wear off. Whereas on the Fizik pair, after nearly a year of constant use, yeah, pretty much flawless. Now these T-Ding shoes are also a little bit tight and not particularly comfortable as a result. So I'm a size 9.5 to 10 UK, so that equates to about a size 44 in EU sizing. These are allegedly a size 45, so actually a size bigger than my Fiziks, but they are still a bit too tight. Now they did get a bit better after a couple of rides, and maybe if I'd have gone up to a size 46, I wouldn't have had this problem at all. But even so, the next issue is not excusable, in my opinion. So I spent a few minutes the other day setting up my cleat position with these new T-Ding shoes, and as I was tightening up these two bolts here, the threads inside the shoe, they stripped right out. I've never had this happen on any other pair of shoes before, and if you look at the threaded insert that's kind of integral to the shoe, you can see why. It's just a cheaply made, stamped sheet metal part. And it's such a shame because I could have actually got on with these shoes if it wasn't for this kind of fatal design flaw that's essentially rendered these shoes unusable now. So I did actually have quite high hopes for these shoes, and I did kind of want to be able to recommend them, but I just can't do it. I mean, yes, the Yo lacing system did get a little bit better over time, as did the comfort, but the quality for day in, day out use, it just isn't there. I mean, maybe if you were super careful with the bolts here, you could get away with these for the occasional weekend ride, and the argument could kind of be made that for £30, you kind of get what you pay for, in essence. However, after a quick Google, I have seen these T-Ding shoes on sale for 75 bucks, or around 60 quid, or maybe a bit more. No. The regular retail price for these Fiziks is about 130 quid, but shop around and you can quite easily find them for about 90 to 100. And the quality of the Fiziks is easily 4 or 5 times better than these T-Ding shoes. I'm starting to realize that The price for a decent pair of cycle shoes is not extortionately expensive, yet the delta in quality between the cheap Chinese knockoff and the real thing is vast. But I hear you, £100 is still quite a lot of money to spend on a pair of cycle shoes. Well then, check out these Scott Road comp shoes that I mentioned earlier. Absolutely fantastic pair of shoes, and you can get them now for like 60 quid. Absolute bargain. Now, I am a massive cheapskate, and I'm all about saving as much money as I can really, but in this instance, I would stick with the real deal. Anyway, that is all we've got time for in today's episode, so subscribe if you like this kind of stuff. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and if you've got any questions or comments about the shoes that I've featured in this video, or about cycle shoes in general, throw them down in the comments below, and I'll try to get back to as many of you as I can. Anyway, that is all, so I will see you all next time.